Last time on Ericade's Dragon Ball Z.
You clipped again.
I clip so hard every time I do that. I'll just move the mic. Last time on Ericade's Dragon Ball Z. The gang picked up the pieces after the Vegeta fight. And then they buried the bodies of their friends, and they found a spaceship and they went to space. And when I say they, I mean Krillin and Gohan and Bulma. And that brings us to now. This time on Ericade's Dragon Ball Z.
There's an episode where I say that you can't parody the announcer voice because it's already too over the top. And you've proven me wrong. And it only took you 2 episodes or so to do it. Oh my God. Welcome to Ericade's Dragon Ball Z. I'm Spencer.
I'm John.
This time we're going to go through episodes 41 through 45 of Ericade's Dragon Ball Z. And I got to tell you, it's going to be wild. A little rough, a little bumpy. Strap in. We're going to go through this together.
I don't have words. I just have noises. Ugh. There.
Episode 41. The American title is Look Out Below. The Japanese title is Kind-Hearted Aliens. There's a 6-star ball already.
Wow. My episode title is Bulma Needs to Check Herself. Part 1.
Seriously, of 3. I don't know if it's been doing this before, but this episode opens with a different title card. Like, it shows the title of the episodes, and there's like a Namekian background with the trees and stuff, which is kind of cool.
It was neat.
So last episode ended with the spaceship landing on a planet and crashing, right? Or did they do that in this episode?
So that's what this episode is. They're approaching this planet, and they're like, we finally made it. We finally made it to Namek. Krillin again says, are you sure? And Bulma says, don't question me! It's Namek. I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'm doing. I'm going to land this thing. Everybody get ready. And so they try to land it, but they fail miserably at landing. They get onto the planet. It's a horrible landing, and they all black out.
Interesting to note for my personal sanity, there is greenery on the planet, right? There's like trees, like Namekian style trees with the circle tops and everything while they're landing, right? While they're landing, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So they fall off a cliff and then it blacks out and they wake up
in beds.
In these weird beds.
Mm-hmm.
And Bulma's the first to come into consciousness. There's 2 Namekians there, very old Namekians. They look like Kami.
They're just standing over her.
Uh-huh. And they explained that they saw the spaceship land, they saw it crash, they went and got him, and put him in these beds so that they could recuperate.
Yep. Bulma's like, okay, well, cool. And then she knocks on Krillin's head to wake him up.
And knocks on Gohan's head.
And that wakes him up. Anybody home? And they wake him up. That's it.
Yep.
They're up.
And they explain to the Namekians that they are there for the Dragon Balls.
Oh, the Namekians do the Namekian.
Oh my God, the greeting. The Namekian greeting.
Which is they grab her nose.
Uh-huh.
And then she grabs
their nose, so they're just holding each other's noses. And I said, the nose thing means this episode's going to be really silly.
Mm-hmm. It just gets it right off from the beginning. You know what you're in for.
So they're like, oh yeah, we can, take you around and gather the Dragon Balls. One of them actually says, you can trust us. We won't take advantage of you.
He says that.
Like,
yes.
straight up.
Straight up.
Which is like already a red flag.
Oh my God.
Just FYI. They walk outside of this house, the 3 of them and the 2 Namekians, and Bulma just like tosses a capsule and makes a car. I love capsule tech.
Capsule tech's amazing.
It's never not going to be cool.
It's super cool.
But they're like, no, you can't. You shouldn't take a car because there's monsters out there. So I'll fly you in my flying ship.
In my ship, the Wukong.
The Wukong.
That's what they called it.
Yeah.
Which is the name of the Monkey King, actually, that Goku is based off of. I think. Is that true? I don't know. I'm going to make that claim, though.
Sure.
I don't know. I can't remember.
There's a little hint here. The whole time the Namekians are like, oh yeah, Dragon Balls, Dragon Radar, totally get it. And it's because they were like, I think they just say that they read their minds and were able to glean all this stuff.
We know more about you than you know about yourselves.
Yeah, that exact quote. And Bulma's like, yeah, so we're going to go get this Dragon Ball. I can't remember exactly what she says, but she ends it with, but you already knew that, right? And the Namekian's like, yep.
He says, yep.
the delivery was
the quickest yep
it's
ever.
Perfect, yeah.
I think it's because the mouth it's a mouth flap thing where
you have to sync it.
Yeah, he says hi, which is yes in Japanese.
Yeah.
But he's got to say yep, like so fast. It's so good.
Just slow it down a couple frames.
Yeah.
It was very funny. I laughed. And so they go off to find the Dragon Balls. Cuts to Vegeta. There's a really weird, I think he's still in the Saiyan pod at this point, right?
Still in the pod.
There's this weird like triple zoom cut thing where it zooms in on his face and then it zooms in on his face and then it zooms in on his face.
Kakarot again.
Yeah, and then it goes into his nightmare, Vegeta's nightmare, where in this dream state, Goku is a monkey and Vegeta's bleeding and almost dead, and Goku monkey's beating him to death.
So Vegeta is just losing his shit now.
Yeah.
In this pod.
He's got PTSD as well. It cuts to Goku in the hospital, and him and Chi-Chi talk about a couple things, and Chi-Chi's knitting a sweater. Goku says, "Hey, is that for me?" And Chi-Chi says, "Do you really think you'll be able to fit in this?" And Goku says, very defeated, I could at least try.
Yeah, I could try.
Then it goes back to Planet Namek, where Bulma, Krillin, and Gohan, and one of the Namekians, not both of them, are like traversing this ancient ruin. And
that's right, yeah.
Krillin sees something on the hieroglyphics that like shows the ancient races that used to live here.
Yep.
In this old city.
They look like weird raccoons mixed with insects.
Yeah, but they're also very big.
And they're huge, yeah.
It's weird. Anyway, they kind of ignore that and then go down to the bottom of this sort of cave structure building thing and come across like a massive tomb.
I think Krillin says, "We're in a tomb, aren't we?"
Yeah, something like that. And there's a bunch of like coffins and stuff that are upright against the walls, and Bulma opens one because the Dragon Radar says there's a Dragon Ball there. And it's a skull, and there's a Dragon Ball in its mouth.
Just in the skull's mouth.
Just in the skull's mouth, there's a Dragon Ball, and Bulma screams. And can you imagine dying with a Dragon Ball in your mouth?
Like, have you ever tried to fit a pool ball in your mouth? Have you ever gotten so drunk at a bar?
It doesn't work.
No. So, yes, I could kind of imagine that, I suppose.
And then it kind of goes on like a really quick, accelerated journey of them getting Dragon Balls. They wind up in a forest with the Namekian. They're no longer in the Wu-Tang or whatever it is, the Wu-Tang clan.
That's the name of the ship now.
And they're walking in the forest, and the
Dragon Radar goes off, and they see the Dragon Ball, but a dinosaur picks it up.
Yeah, it's one of the giant 100-foot monsters that the Namekian warned about.
Yeah, that was like,
earlier.
You can't take that capsule car because a 100-foot monster will crush your car.
And it's really weird because the monster's there, and they're coming up on the Dragon Ball, and the Dragon Ball like pushes against the dinosaur's foot.
Oh, yeah.
The monster's foot. And so the monster bends down and grabs it, which would be the equivalent to you or I bending down and picking up a crumb that tapped against our shoe.
Yeah.
I face palmed.
Yeah.
Because like that's...
It doesn't make sense.
Anyway, it's literally Godzilla.
It is.
BT dubs.
That's how big this motherfucker is.
Yeah.
He picks up the little Dragon Ball, and the gang catches up with him and says, "Hey, we're going to need that." And he turns around and he goes, "Nah," and he eats it.
Yeah.
And then he just walks away.
And then he runs away. And
he just walks away.
And Bulma's like, "Oh, we got to stop him." And the Namekian stops her and says, "No, you can't. We can't. We're going to get in the car. We'll follow him that way."
Yeah.
Because then they watch for a little bit, and there's a weird sound.
We're going to hop back in the Wu-Tang clan, and then we're going to follow through because we can't go any further. It's dangerous. It's too dangerous.
There's monsters. But there's like something happened to the monster up ahead, so we'll go investigate.
Yes.
They do that and come across an acid lake.
Yeah, a pond of acid.
It's a lake of acid, and they see the monster's skeleton rise to the surface of the acid lake, and must have slipped into it.
Yeah, I guess he just fell into the acid lake in like the dead center too.
It's the Dragon Ball's down there somewhere. We got to go get it. So the Wu-Tang clan, like there's a section of it on the bottom that elevates down, and so it's just a platform sort of out in the open, and everybody's standing there.
Yeah.
And they're like, "We can go down there, but you need a special suit." And we have a special suit.
But it'll only last about 20 seconds.
Before the acid disintegrates.
The acid eats through the suit.
Yeah. So Gohan's like, "I'll do it."
Yeah, Gohan's like, "I'll go."
Yeah.
All resolute and like, "Yes."
And
cool.
the Namekian says, "Okay, well, you jump down there. I'll get a special rope."
Yeah.
Tie to you. And then we'll just pull you back up.
No problem. After 20 seconds, we'll just pull you back up, and that way you don't have to count, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. My question was, how do they know how long this suit survives in acid? And also, given what happens in 2 episodes, how is this pointless time limit even imposed in the first place?
Nothing makes sense. Maybe they had 2 suits, because there's 2 of them. There's the 2 Namekian dudes. And so that's how they found out it's about 20 seconds, is because they were trying to go to the acid lake for, I don't know, acid lake reasons.
But then my second question comes up and ruins everything. So Gohan gets in the suit. They tie a special rope to him. He dives down. The acid starts taking effect as he's looking for the Dragon Ball. Acid hits the rope before it hits the suit, and the rope breaks, and everybody up that's trying to reel him in is like, oh no, Gohan's dead.
Shit.
Gohan finds the Dragon Ball as the suit's disintegrating and blasts himself up. He says
Flashing attack.
flashing attack.
Which I don't think ever comes up again, ever.
Never.
No.
Not once.
No.
It wasn't anything. It could have been a Masenko and it would have been fine, but
Nope.
he says flashing attack.
Flashing attack. And I'm like, fine.
Anyway,
Fine. All right. You just
propels
invented
him up.
something.
there it is.
They got it.
They got the Dragon
They
Ball.
got the Dragon Ball, so now they have to.
End of episode.
Yeah. Then it ends.
Episode 42. The American title is The Search Continues. The Japanese title is Planet Frieza number 79. Vegeta recovers.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's wild.
My title is Bulma Needs to Check Herself, Part 2. Because we didn't mention how much whining
Oh, so
and
much.
complaining and bemoaning her station and how everyone else is incompetent Bulma did in the last episode.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
we're just going to skip through that because
Well, that's the thing is it's grating, right? It's really irritating. And so
Oh
when I'm
my
watching
God.
it, I just don't even feel like taking notes on
no,
it because
exactly.
I don't know what to say. It just sucks. Like it's just a sucky part of the show.
Yeah, she just sucks. And it sucks that she sucks.
Because
but-
sometimes she's awesome.
Most of the time, she's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But during these episodes, when they're on this planet looking for the Dragon Balls, all she does is fucking complain and whine that nobody's doing things up to her standards, that people are second guessing her. It's awful.
Yep.
She is awful. And so, yeah, I didn't take any notes down about it, but just know that throughout, in between all the things that we mentioned, she definitely is complaining about something.
This episode starts with Goku in the hospital again. It's nighttime, I think. Chi-Chi's asleep, and Goku tries to sneak into the hospital in his casts. He's not wearing a full body anymore, I don't think. My question is, why doesn't he just sneak out the window like Mr. Popo? The same window that Mr. Popo came through? Because it's an open window,
I don't know.
and he can just fly.
This is not that smart.
Anyway,
I
so he
guess.
tries to go through the door. He dodges past Chi-Chi okay,
Yep.
but then the doctor and nurses are there,
Mm.
and they stop him.
And yeah, he laughs. Ha ha ha! I wasn't trying to escape. Also, Vegeta is in the healing pod now. I think this might have happened at the end of the last episode, actually, where he lands on this planet and they take him out of his Saiyan pod and they strip him down, put him into a healing chamber.
Yeah.
Very much like a big old Bacta container.
Yeah,
Bacta
that's
container.
right. Because he does land a while ago, and then in the episode, they actually approach the same pod and saying, "Oh, he's on life support."
Right.
They crack it open, they drag him into this castle place, and strap him to a bantha take. Meanwhile, back on Namek, the Namekian, Bulma, Krillin, and Gohan are walking through a desert.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to their flying car, but it's not around anymore.
She's gone now.
I really wanted the thing that they were like, they were like, "Oh, Dragon Ball right ahead," but what's that? I wanted it to be sandworms so bad. I
That
really
would've been
wanted them to
pretty-
fight sandworms.
Pretty sweet.
It's just a tornado, but a tornado's pretty good too, I guess.
sure. Yeah.
The Dragon Ball is in the tornado.
Just dead center inside of
Somehow-
the tornado, flying, just floating there, suspended.
The most amazing sequence happens in about 5 seconds where Gohan and Krillin get ready to attack the tornado.
That's right.
Like Gohan readies Masenko and Krillin readies Destructor Disc, I think. And I want to see a Destructor Disc hit a tornado.
yeah, I
I really wanted to see.
Would have been awesome.
He says, "Are you ready to go head to head with a tornado?" Which might be my favorite. But then Bulma says, like, "You can't attack the tornado
Yeah,
because you might hit the Dragon Ball.
You
Not because
idiots.
it's ridiculous.
yeah.
Because you might hit the Dragon Ball. But the Dragon Ball was impervious to that acid. So, like, are they really worried about destroying the Dragon Ball?
I don't.
Just cut the tornado in half, Krillin.
Come
please.
on. So then the tornado continues along its path of destruction and starts chasing after a Bulma and the Namekian, and they're running away screaming, "Oh my God, do something, you guys, do something."
Yep.
And Gohan decides, "I'm going to do something."
Yeah.
Flies
Gohan's
up
like,
to the top.
"We need the Dragon Balls. I want Piccolo back. Whatever it takes."
Whatever it takes.
He actually says
that.
the Avengers line,
Yeah.
which must be where Avengers got it from, and then dives into the tornado.
He dives into the tornado from the top and flies on down, grabs the Dragon Ball, Masenko's his ass out of it, which explodes the tornado.
The tornado explodes. It literally just explodes. Gohan blows up a tornado was my note.
Yeah. Yep.
It's pretty cool though. For a while, there's like when he's inside it, it's the shot is centered on the Dragon Ball, but then you can see Gohan like flipping around,
Oh, yeah.
cycloning as he's getting closer and closer, which is pretty cool.
It's pretty sweet. It's solid training, whether they wanted it to be or not.
Yep. So he gets a Dragon Ball, and the tornado goes away.
Yay.
They got another one. Cuts to
Goku.
Goku in a desert, still wearing a hospital gown, but with his regular clothes folded neatly in a pile next to him.
Yeah.
So
He knows what he's about.
How did he get here? Why did he wait to put on his clothes? Where did he find the folded clothes? And why did he decide that this was the spot where he was to lay them down neatly while staring off into the desert?
A filler? I don't know. That's my only answer for any of this shit, because then he takes off his bandages, then puts on his regular clothes, and he's like, yeah, it feels good to be training again.
He actually says, which is the best message to kids that you could possibly say, is the only way to get better is to get out there and keep training.
That's what he said, yes. And then doesn't he try?
He does. He tries to like fight, basically train himself, and
he goes like his silhouette goes black and like lightning strikes through his body.
Yes, like he's still hurt. He shouldn't be doing this.
Yes.
But he's going to keep doing it.
Because he's Goku.
Because he's Goku. And so it cuts back to Namek for a while.
At this point, going through a forest.
Yeah.
And Krillin breaks off a branch of one of the trees to try and light it on fire so they can see through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And when he breaks off the branch, there's like this huge squawk and the whole forest starts shaking. It turns out the branch that he broke off is actually a feather, part of a bird.
A giant bird.
A giant bird, because the entire forest is actually a series of birds, which it looks really cool. Because the skin of the birds look like bark.
It reminded me of Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, yeah.
This whole sequence.
That's a really good way to put it. So the birds take off and start flying, and they're inside of the bird.
Yeah, they're on top of the bird.
On top of the birds. They see a castle. Just a fucking castle.
It's like
so
the
out
Disney
of place.
castle.
Yeah.
Literally.
Quintessential Disney castle, and you're like, The birds start attacking them off the back of the other bird, and they jump down to get to the castle.
Yep. It cuts back to Goku, who like slips and falls off a cliff, and he's like hurt bad, and he's grabbing onto the rock with his hand. And I was not prepared for him to like squeeze the rock so hard that his hand starts bleeding.
That
like,
was weird.
Blood comes out of the spot where he's holding the rock.
Yeah.
Goku's not okay.
No. It cuts to the hospital where Chi-Chi is sitting and knitting a sweater for Goku because she felt bad that she was knitting him. And someone says, aren't you going to get out there and try and find him? And she says, all they ever do is leave us around to sit around, pay the bills, and worry.
I mean, she's not wrong,
that's exactly
is the thing.
What they do, because she even felt bad and was making him a sweater.
Yeah, and he left.
And then he fucking left. So it kind of was like, all right, I kind of get your side a little bit more. You can go about it better.
Yeah.
But,
nobody's totally in the wrong, but nobody's totally in the right. With their whole relationship.
Cuts back to Namek, where they're trying to get the Dragon Ball from, turns out, the inhabitant of this castle.
You guessed it. It's a fucking giant.
It's a giant.
Like Jack and the Beanstalk.
It's what it is.
And they're in a castle. Everything's really big. He has like books and inks and quills and stuff that are just giant.
And they're searching through him.
And he's sleeping in a bed. And they finally find the Dragon Ball.
Oh, there's a Bulma moment here. Among all the annoying Bulma moments, this one stands out to me, where she is next to the giant and she says, you guys could be screaming and we wouldn't wake him up.
Yeah.
And she jumps down next to the giant and like yells in his ear, hey, where's the Dragon Ball, asshole? And he doesn't wake up.
Thankfully.
But seriously.
So dumb.
What?
So dumb.
What are you doing?
Yeah. It doesn't
and
make
then
any
she's
sense.
the one who sees the Dragon Ball. It's actually his earring.
The giant turns over and on his earring is the Dragon Ball.
Oh my God.
So then they proceed to all gather together and try to pull the Dragon Ball off of the earring instead of just taking out the earring from his ear. So it's like pulling on the giant's ear more and more and more.
Which then wakes up the giant.
They get the Dragon Ball, actually. They pop it off, and Bulma says, safe, and she does the umpire baseball hand movements for some reason.
Yeah.
Because Yamcha played baseball, and she secretly loves him, so she's kept track of the sport.
There we go.
There you go.
That makes sense.
I did it.
That's what it is. Yep.
So then the giant wakes up, and their plan is to escape by plane.
Yeah, so the giant has like models.
Yeah, like toy models,
but they're actually functional
somehow.
So Bulma's trying to work this fucking plane while Gohan and Krillin start attacking the giant, and they start blasting it, and it breaks off like stone chunks of the. It turns out the giant's actually made of stone. Every time they blast him, like a chunk of stone comes off. The giant's trying to grab him. Bulma gets fed up with not understanding how the controls of this plane work, slams her hands into the controls, and then it just turns on.
It turns on. It does it.
And she says, "Ha! I knew my genius would come into play," and I went, "Fuck you!"
That's not Bulma's genius.
It's not.
It's not.
Not to her specifically, but to the people who wrote this. Like,
yeah.
Damn it.
You don't understand the character.
Yes.
So the plane starts up and they grab Krillin and Gohan right out of midair as they're about to get hit by the giant. They escape the castle in the plane. Krillin looks back at where the castle was and he just sees a giant rock pillar where the castle used to be, and then he looks back again, sort of blinks, and the castle's there again.
But it's a different castle.
But it's a different castle. It's like Russian construction instead of classical fairy tale. He's just like, and then it cuts back to
Vegeta.
He comes out of the pod. They wake him up. He's no longer in the bantha tank. They're like, we rebuilt him. He's faster, stronger, better. We just couldn't get his tail back. So
that's right. Yeah.
He steps out of the pod and he's naked. And you can kind of see where his tail got sliced off.
Yeah, they can cure all wounds and regenerate his eye, but your tail's gone forever. Sorry, bud.
And he's like, it doesn't matter. But he did get the stub. He just doesn't get the whole thing because there's a spot where his tail should be.
Just a little hole there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he's back. Episode 43. The American title is A Friendly Surprise. The Japanese title is The Dragon Balls Are All Found. Piccolo-san will also come back to life.
My title is Bulma Really Gets on My Last Goddamn Nerve, and I'm sick of talking about it, and I'm sick of these episodes. That's the whole title. So it starts off where the gang is in an ice cavern.
Yeah, this part's actually pretty cool. They're slowly mining. They're using their energy beams
to heat
ice to melt.
To a Dragon Ball, and Bulma gets impatient. How come you can't just heat it up and go faster?
Which is the stupid part. Yeah.
And they're like, because it will blow through the bottom of the whole thing is made of ice, and we'll beam through it, and then we'll all fall in, and we'll cause a cave in. And she goes, fine. Can you do it faster? Like immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on. Oh, it's at this point actually that I recognize what they're going for is that they're going for an OG callback to the original Dragon Ball. To the
original Dragon Ball, because it's Krillin and Bulma and Gohan as a surrogate for Goku.
Exactly. Yeah. They're trying to do that.
They're trying to do the more adventurous, sort of lighthearted, but that's like they're still having this horrible identity crisis where we're watching two shows melded into one.
That's exactly what it is.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't. I've also noticed that the art style has changed.
Well, and I do wonder if the filler is trying to harken back to Dragon Ball, because Dragon Ball Z hasn't found like its identity yet. You know what I mean? So they're falling back on the old habits of Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah.
And that's why it sucks.
I could definitely, get behind that. That makes sense to me.
They get the Dragon Ball out, but then all of a sudden the ice cave collapses for no reason. Bulma says, I thought you said that you were going slow to prevent this. And Krillin's like, well, yeah, but that's when you started talking about your skin, because she starts going off about frostbite.
Oh, my God.
How her skin's going to suffer. Anyway, so the floor collapses and they land in an ice circle, like a sled.
Like, a disc of ice.
That they're going down, and they're like, oh, no, stop, help. We're trapped, but they can fly. But they can fly, though.
Yeah.
So they're just fine, but they don't do it because it's an homage to OG Dragon Ball, and they couldn't fly in that one. So they go down the mountain, and they are like blasting with their energy beams to try to redirect the disc to the right way. Eventually, a giant snowball falls down behind them, like Indiana Jones.
Snowball. Before that happens, we see a cut to like two people in the shadows.
Oh yeah, for a split second.
And you hear like
it's just
laughter,
like these pink eyes, and laughter.
And you hear like, if you thought that was good, watch this. And then they drop the snowball.
That's right.
And it's the boulders following them. Then it cuts to. It might be before this. It might be after. I can't remember. It cuts to Vegeta, who is being checked out by a doctor, by a Frieza Force doctor, who is like, we were able to heal all of your physical wounds. Do you want to tell me what happened, or is your ego still too damaged to be examined? I thought that was pretty nice. And Vegeta says, nope. And just walks away.
Great. Like these episodes have been so weird. The highlight has been flashing to Vegeta.
Yeah.
For me.
And in exploring what the other side of this evil force is.
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot, because it's made up of like seemingly human people and other weird alien creatures.
Yeah, now you're getting the first glimpse at like the super alien life forms that
the
are out there.
Frieza Force.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very intriguing to me. I appreciate it.
It does cut to Goku too for a second, where he's in his clothes now, still in the desert, and they just copied the scene where Piccolo
is floating
floating the pyramids, except these obviously aren't the pyramids, they're just rock formations.
But they look like pyramids.
But they're shaped like pyramids.
Yes.
And it's like the same exact thing.
It's the same exact thing, except Goku doesn't lose control and cause earthquakes.
Yeah.
So he levitates the pyramids using his ki, and then he dives into the bottom of the pyramid like it's water.
Yeah, it makes a hole.
And then busts out the other side and is like,
and the whole thing blows up.
That hurt me.
Yeah.
And he's like scuffed up and stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, you just dove into rock, you idiot. What are you doing?
Then it cuts back to the trio.
They see some stalactites on the ceiling.
Oh, the ceiling of the cave.
And they're like, okay, we're just going to drop stalactites on the snowball that's chasing us, and it'll break it. So they drop them, and it drops in front of the snowball, and the snowball just picks them up, and now it's just a snowball with spikes. Now
So that didn't
become
work.
Yeah, it did not work at all. It just made it more dangerous.
So they find their exit. They're skating right toward it. They jump out, and then it turns out that they've jumped out the side of a canyon, and there's a sheer drop below them. And they're like,
But then they remember they can fly.
But then they finally remember they can fly, and Gohan and Krillin just pick up Bulma, and everything's fine.
Yeah.
So why didn't you do that 10 minutes ago?
Especially, there was a period there before the snowball existed that it would have been fine.
Like when the floor was collapsing.
Just
don't fall.
You're right, yeah. Hello. Okay, all right. It's fine. We go to Vegeta now. Vegeta is asking where Frieza is. Like, where's Frieza? And nobody really knows. The doctor doesn't know. The grunts don't know. And I believe the doctor says ask Qui.
Oh, yeah.
We're introduced to this character, Qui, which is supposed to be, I guess, introduced as Vegeta's equal as a soldier in the Frieza Force.
You'll find out later that they've fought together somehow.
Yeah, they were both like frontline soldiers. The way that I'm interpreting this, the way that I'm seeing this, is that Vegeta and Qui are like, maybe not generals, but they're like they're officers,
sure,
in the Frieza Force, because they're certainly better than the average ass person, soldier, hired grunt, goon, whatever. So Vegeta speaks with Qui, and Qui says, "I heard you got your ass kicked pretty bad." Vegeta's like, "I don't give a shit. Where's Frieza?" Qui says, "Oh, well, Frieza's on planet Namek, finding Dragon Balls." And Vegeta says, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
Oh yeah, I'm really curious how everybody knows everything,
because scouters transmit the
that was the conclusion that I came to, but it was really weird because he's like, according to rumors, Frieza's not happy with your performance according to rumors about what happened on Earth.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Vegeta's the only survivor. That's the only thing that I could think of, is that like scouters are transmitting it all the time, whether you want them to or not.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't wear a scouter for a lot of that. Anyway,
or his pod, maybe,
yeah,
gave him. Anyway,
so Frieza knows that the Dragon Balls on Namek are real now,
and he's there,
and so he immediately went there. Yeah. And Vegeta wants those Dragon Balls so that he can wish for immortality, then go back to Earth and kill everybody.
But also, it seems like Vegeta wants to murder Frieza as well. This is where it's introduced, where Vegeta is like, I don't think I'm going to be working for Frieza much longer, something like that.
Right, and I'm curious where this thought process is coming from. Was this always his plan, or is it just because Frieza went to Namek to get the Dragon Balls and Vegeta wants the Dragon Balls? Now Frieza's in his way.
Like usurping his...
Because it doesn't feel like the rivalry was like always there.
Yeah.
It feels like it comes out of nowhere, because like this is the episode where he starts running down the hall just being like, I'm gonna get him.
Yeah,
like, I'm not gonna give up.
Hops in his pod against other people's like orders or wishes.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what's going on with Vegeta. At some point it goes back to Chi-Chi and Goku for a second. Goku's obviously training in the mountain. After he goes through the pyramid and it blows up, he like lands on his back.
Right. Yeah.
He's just sort of, he's not dead, but he's like exhausted and hurt still. He hasn't healed fully. He's finally starting to get that. And Master Roshi and Chi-Chi fly out in the airboat and find him. And there's like a weird moment for Chi-Chi where you can see it on her face in the animation, where she spots him first and she's like super happy. She's like really excited. And then instantly it goes back to her being mad at him. And there's like a split second of happiness there that makes me feel like she does care about him. but also like has to force herself to be mad at him because of what he's doing with Gohan, and like how his wants and her wants are very different.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a weird relationship.
It's a very dysfunctional relationship. Honestly, it's not built on love, but instead this kid and a promise to an ox guy.
Yep.
It's awkward, weird.
It's very strange.
It's very odd. So we cut back to Namek.
Yeah.
And the gang is finally getting the last Dragon Ball. They've located it. It's in like a weird...
It's like a lake with a
tiki, almost.
a tiki statue in the middle of it. Yeah.
So they're going to check that out, and Gohan gets trapped by something. He's like stuck in midair.
You don't see anything. He's just in midair. Yeah.
He's just stuck in midair by something, ? Nobody really knows. Jeez, what even happens at this point?
Krillin and Bulma say, stop playing around, and Gohan's like, I'm actually stuck, and Krillin starts going up to see what's going on, and then the Namekians come out of nowhere, I believe.
Oh, that's right. The Namekians walk up, and they're laughing evilly.
Yeah. Yeah. Through a series of weird events that happen very quickly, the Namekians finally reveal the truth of what's been going on this whole time.
Yeah, they morph and transform their bodies into that tomb a couple episodes ago.
The weird hieroglyphics. Yeah.
It turns out those are the dudes.
And they're creepy.
They're creepy.
They definitely look alien. They're giant and pink and purple and weird eyes.
Yeah.
And so Krillin finally, everything clicks together. Like throughout the whole episode, you can kind of feel him thinking.
Yeah.
Like trying to suss everything out and figure out what's actually going on. This didn't make sense for a reason. As they're transforming into these pink aliens, their true selves, they're like bringing together all of the constructs that they built for the sake of whatever illusion has been going on this whole time. You see the castle.
Oh yeah, that was really
like certain
weird.
monuments.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, they just sort of appear. I think what it is this whole time things have been going on in this very small space, because after all the sort of the monuments we've seen are brought together into one place, and Bulma and Krillin are just like looking around very surprised. Yeah, the planet transforms from the Namek, quote unquote, that you know, to like this basically an asteroid.
It looks like a horrible quagmire.
Yeah,
an asteroid.
And so they are in a lake. That part was real, but there's monsters in the lake with tentacles, and that's what's grabbing Gohan. They couldn't see it before because it's an illusion.
Yeah.
And then the episode ends with the narrator saying, "Is this really planet Namek?" And the answer to that is no. And then it does this weird thing where it shows all three characters the way the anime does, where they cut a portion of the screen and then show that character's face.
Yeah.
And they do that a couple times to show everybody, and the narrator is asking all these questions, and the aliens pop in from the bottom of the frame and look at you directly at the camera and laugh in your face to end the episode off, which was really funny.
I think it's interesting how the title of this episode, the Japanese title, totally throws you.
Yeah, it's a twist.
It's the complete opposite of what you... So maybe in Japan, like, if you just base your understanding of what's going to happen on that, and that's that alone...
It's like shocking.
Then yeah, this is like, whoa,
it's like
shit.
Yeah, it's a rug pull 43 episodes in the making.
Yeah.
They've been saving it for this moment.
Maybe that's what it is. And then from now on, the Japanese titles won't give anything away, and you can't trust them or believe them.
Maybe. Episode 44 is called Brood of Evil in America. The Japanese title is A Tough New Enemy, Frieza, Emperor of the Universe.
Wow, that's a tall order.
I know.
My title is Tentacle Fever. The evil dudes explain their plan, and we've been stuck on this planet for...
Bulma's confused, and they have to explain it to her like 3 different times.
Yeah, 3 different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, I still don't understand why they're stuck on the planet.
There's
like a cloud cover that only dissipates every year.
Yeah, it's like that black and red stuff that they went through.
Right.
Remember at the beginning of the whole arc?
And that's the only way that they can get through it is with their ship. So they've been repairing the Namekian Kami's old ship.
Yeah.
That they crash landed on the planet with. They say that they're not fighters, and that's why they're having these weird
illusions created.
Tentacle creatures are...
And the tentacle creatures aren't going to kill them, but they're going to hold on to them long enough for the aliens to make their escape.
Yeah.
In Kami's ship, and then Krillin, Gohan, and Bulma will be the ones stuck on this planet.
Yes. There's a flashback to the alien, like, having this weird probe thing come out of his head.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, mind...
I do not like those antennae.
Meld.
That's what I said. It like goes onto Bulma's forehead.
And then, like, mind
That's how they read all the thoughts. But it doesn't explain how the hell, when they first landed on the planet, they saw all those Namekian trees and shit.
No, it doesn't.
Because it looks like a regular planet when they first land, not an asteroid. And the aliens don't probe them until after
they've already
they
landed.
crash.
Yeah, how would they know?
What the hell?
And the planet looks like, as they're about to land on it, exactly what Namek actually does look
Well,
like.
and that's another thing, too, is Bulma's never seen the real Namek. So why does the illusion look so much like the Namek we're going to see later on?
It doesn't
make any sense.
Fucking sense at all.
Yeah.
So the evil dude, one of the evil dudes, sticks out his tongue, like, flash, shoots it out like a whip.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
I thought that it was about to get really... The tongue goes into Bulma's pocket and takes the dragon radar.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And I was like, oh, thank fuck.
The aliens are like, we're going to leave this planet. We're going to go to Namek ourselves and get the Dragon Balls because we want that wish. They go to the spaceship while Krillin and Gohan are still stuck with the tentacle monsters in the lake. And they can't figure out how to open it, which is very weird to me because they were able to extrapolate so much information from Bulma's head.
Yeah.
And they understand, well, there's 3 reasons. They understand that it's passcoded with a vocal command, but they don't know what it is, which doesn't make sense. They scanned Bulma's mind, so they should know exactly what it is. And 3, there's a shot in a couple episodes ago where in Namekian form, the guy is on the ship trying to repair it.
Yeah, he's already on it.
Yeah, because it's why he hasn't come along for the Dragon Ball adventure like the other Namek did. So does he fix it, and then the last fix he puts in place is him outside the ship and now he's locked out because he was inside it earlier?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't check out. Maybe the ship was never broken in the first place. Maybe it was just 100%.
No, it was, because they flash back to when Bulma, Gohan, and Krillin were all unconscious and you can see the ship.
But maybe that's an illusion because that fucking temple that they started off in was never real. The beds weren't ever real. It was all illusory.
How do they have these massive capabilities?
I don't.
These illusionary generations. That's so it's so powerful, though.
The aliens. I don't know, man. They run a show where humans can blast their energy. So.
Yeah, but that's based in fact. Cut back to Gohan and Krillin. Krillin's been grabbed by the tentacle monsters. Now Gohan super jumps, super flies. So the tentacle creatures come out of the water, and he dives back in. So he's pulling them.
Gets one of his arms free.
Starts blasting. Krillin gets free. They join hands and blast and start spinning in a circle.
Pretty cool.
It's freaking awesome.
Actually,
it's the best part of the episode. They create a cyclone in the lake,
a whirlpool with key spinning powers,
their energy beams. It's amazing.
Bulma goes after the aliens, and she's hiding
because
there.
Krillin yells at her to do something because she's been useless this whole time.
Yes, which I felt
vindicated.
Yes, thank you. God damn it, Bulma, do something. So she goes after the aliens. She's hiding and listening to their plans. They go after her to force her to tell them how to open the thing, and she's hiding a foot away. And they jump up and they're about to leave. And doesn't she do something to give away her position?
She's just cowering, and I think one of them jumps on her head.
Oh, yeah, one of them.
A little bit, and so she screams.
Her a little bit.
Yeah, and then they turn around and find her.
So they're forcing her to open up the doors. She opens up the door for the ship. They stand on it. It starts going up, and that's it. They made it out.
And then Gohan yells, "Piccolo!"
Yeah.
And it starts coming back down.
And they're like, wait, hang on, what?
Yeah. And so Krillin and Gohan have successfully freed themselves. They're there to save the day. They poke the aliens, and they're down for the count.
Just kick them once.
And they were like, "We told you we weren't ones for violence."
Mm-hmm.
And then Bulma, Krillin, and Gohan get on the ship and leave. The aliens weren't that bad.
No,
they weren't harmful.
Bulma offered, hey...
Well, that's the thing, right? Yeah, they were like, hey, we can take you with us. Just tell us where you're going. And the aliens are like, we're going 50 years away, our planet.
Yeah, are you sure you're up for that trip?
And Bulma's like, nah. Yeah. So instead of offering them anything at all, they just decide they're mortal enemies and leave them on the rock.
Yeah.
Their plan wasn't to kill Krillin, Gohan, and Bulma. They were just going to leave them on the planet and take their ship. And they weren't violent. They didn't try to fight them. I don't see why they're so evil.
I don't know.
Anyway.
They just want to leave, right?
They just want to leave.
But then the gang screws them over and takes off, and they're gone now.
Yeah.
They're off this false Namek, and they leave them just like Gohan left the tiger on the island.
Then, after they leave the planet, the act break goes off, signaling the halfway point I felt like it was a full episode. I was like, we're only 10 minutes into this.
Like, wow, geez.
It's such a weird episode. So they leave that, and then the filler stops. Finally.
Yeah, you can tell.
You can tell because instantly when they arrive at the real Namek, which is like the next scene, everybody's back to normal.
Everybody's back to being who they were.
Like Krillin, Gohan, and Bulma, my note is, okay, this is the kind of fun character banner that I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fun again, and nobody's, like, overly cruel or mean.
No.
And they're fine. And the ship comes down, and she's like, I've confirmed with the computer, this is actually Namek this time. The ship goes down to land, and the music is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
The arrival on Namek theme is really good.
It's real good. They get out of the ship, then they walk outside. Bulma's scanning the atmosphere to make sure that it's breathable.
Such a good character moment. She's like typing on the computer trying to figure out, okay, so the atmosphere is this. Will we be able to breathe this? She looks out the window and Gohan and Krillin are already outside, which I guess is fine because technically, Piccolo and Kami lived on Earth for so long. So
exactly, yeah,
it makes sense. But it's a fun joke.
As soon as they're out there, though, almost instantaneously, when all three of them are out there, they see a streak in the sky and they're like, "Oh shit, that's a Saiyan ship."
Yeah, they recognize a Saiyan pod.
Shit, that's Vegeta's fucking pod. Oh shit!
Panicking.
They're like, okay, maybe we should. Here's the new plan. All right, Bulma, you go back to Earth and you get Goku. We'll stay here. We got this.
Yeah,
we'll handle it. And Bulma's like, yeah, okay, that sounds good to me. Fuck this, I'm out.
But it's gonna be 2 months.
It's gonna, just be ready. It's gonna be 2 months. How much is 2 months? It's 60 days. It's 300. It's like she's through all the seconds
out.
and all the milliseconds. It's crazy.
She's very scared.
She's gonna get on the ship, and then they see another fucking pod, and they're like, oh shit. And Krillin says, maybe we should all go back.
Which, like, fair enough.
Yeah.
Vegeta kicked their ass, and it was just one dude.
Yes.
Oh, Krillin's wearing the best hat in the world again. As he steps out, he's wearing his fighting clothes in the Krillin hat.
And the hat that says Krillin.
Yeah, which I really love. I think they put him in it solely for when he gets mad.
Oh, when the other pod appears.
The other pod appears, and they get mad. And Krillin takes off his hat and throws it on the ground.
Throws it on the ground.
That's a classic sign of anger.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that's the only reason he had a hat.
That makes sense to me. Checks out. I'm pretty sure he just leaves his hat there.
I think we never see it again, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah. So you're going to look online for a Krillin hat now, aren't you?
I think I'm going to.
Oh my God.
It cuts back to Kame House after they see the pods, and Kame House now has a satellite that we've never seen before. They've had a communication system built up.
Oh, that's right.
Master Roshi can communicate with Bulma, and so Bulma kind of fills Master Roshi in with what's going on, which is going to be a very important leader. And then it cuts to another part of Namek, another part of the planet, where a Namekian is dying and bleeding purple, and then it shows that Frieza is there.
Yes, this is the very first time you
actually see him. Yeah. And that's the end of the episode.
That is it.
Episode 45.
Thank God the fucking filler's over.
The filler's over. Like, it felt so good. Those last 10 minutes of the episode, it was like, okay, we're back.
Yeah, now we're back in it. Woo.
And it would have been a fine one-off episode, but they stretched it into a trilogy and then some. It was just so
grating,
bad
and nonsensical.
I don't care. I can take filler. It's fine, but like stretching it into that much, so it's like its own mini arc, it's just nonsense.
Ruthless.
There's no point to it.
Yeah.
Episode 45 is not filler. It's called Frieza Strikes. In America, the Japanese title is Vegeta's Ambition. I am the greatest warrior in the universe. 2 exclamation marks. This episode kicks off back on Namek,
where I start off with my title.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You don't have one. It's the last episode.
I know, I don't have one, so let me make one up. You ready? The filler's over! Okay, that's it. That's just I had that ready to go.
Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, it kicks off back on Namek. My turn. I actually don't remember how it starts.
It starts off with Krillin and Bulma and Gohan on Namek in front of the ship. And Bulma's like, this is the most depressing day of my life. And Krillin's like, yeah, today's not starting off so great.
Oh, that's right.
Which I just love that line for some reason.
It feels so good. After the previous episode, you're like, oh, fuck. Oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's good stuff. It actually almost immediately cuts to Frieza on a different part of Namek.
Collected the Dragon Balls?
Yeah, they're talking about how Vegeta's on his way to collect the Dragon Balls, which I don't understand how he knows that, but he knows that.
Hui has been spying.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so Vegeta is flanked by 2 new characters. One is Zarbon, who is this blue, tall, handsome-looking dude with
Frieza is flanked.
Frieza is flanked by 2 new characters, yeah. One is this blue, handsome dude with green hair. His name is Zarbon. And then there's another one, large, pink, spiky creature. It looks like a Dorian fruit, and the name is Dodoria.
Yeah.
Actually. So
no mystery there.
Or durian fruit, rather, not Dorian. Dorian Gray, durian fruit. It's different things.
They've already got 4 of the Dragon Balls.
They already got 4 of them. Zarbon informs Frieza that Qui has been spying on Vegeta. Vegeta's on the way, coming after you. Frieza says, I don't give a shit. I'll kill him. I don't care. Vegeta disobeyed my orders when he went to Earth to go after the Dragon Balls, which means that Vegeta has already been kind of on...
insubordinate.
Yes. Zarbon says, oh, also, there were 2 small power levels that we detected. I've sent a scout party.
Yeah.
To go check that out.
And immediately after Krillin and Gohan realize that they've seen the Saiyan pods, they like depower themselves.
Yes, they
mask
masking their power levels. And those 2 scouts that they sent show up to where the gang has landed and is crapping their pants. And the 2 scouts, they talk to each other and like, wow, what pathetic power levels. Let's start by blowing up their ship. And one of the scouts blasts a huge hole through their ship. Just no problem.
Bulma's about to leave right before they show up, and Krillin's like, no, wait. Maybe we all go. That's where he sort of
that's right, yeah.
Puts that part in. So the scouts blow up the ship, and at this point, I'm itching for a fight, for a good old-fashioned DBZ blowout, because it's been so long.
Mm-hmm.
Krillin and Gohan power up, and like one move, the 2 scouts are gone.
Yes, they're done.
No
I thought
problem.
This was funny, actually, that the scouts, when they power up, the scouts say, looks like the little one's having stomach cramps or something.
Because that's what he sounds like all the time when he powers up.
Anytime they power up.
It was a nice, that was a meta moment.
Kick the shit out of the scouts, and they fall into the ocean and are dead. We have to assume they just are dead now.
Yeah. It's also really weird how Frieza's just here now.
Yeah.
And we're going to be on Namek for a while, folks. Like,
yeah, we're going to be
strap in
for quite a while. The next 50 episodes?
Something like that. Saiyans didn't show up until like 5 episodes before the end of the arc.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to think that Frieza's right there.
We're moving fast.
Yeah.
The show is identifying what it's about very quickly, which I appreciate.
Yeah. It cuts back to Goku for a bit in the hospital, and somehow he knows how to telekinetically lift water out of a glass.
He just did it with the pyramid, so...
Oh, that's true. He did it with the pyramids.
All right.
And then I feel bad that this scene plays out the way it does, because for a second, it's just Chi-Chi and Goku, and like Chi-Chi's being reasonable, and Goku's actually talking, and you think they're going to have a nice heart-to-heart, wife and husband moment, and then they don't.
They don't at all.
They almost do. It's so close. They almost had a nice moment together. And then Chi-Chi kind of ruins it, and Goku's face looks really weird for the rest of the scene.
Yep.
He like gets wet because of the water, and Chi-Chi dries him off, and then like Goku's like cross-eyed. It cuts back to Namek after that. Vegeta is met up with, what's his name?
Qui.
Qui's like, I'm going to kill you, Vegeta. You're not powerful at all. Get ready for this. And then Vegeta's like, nah. And then he powers up, and Qui like flips.
Starts shitting his pants.
Yeah.
The scouter explodes off of Qui's face.
Oh my god. So like, this is such a weird continuity pull. This shows you how weird the priorities of the show are. So it goes back to Frieza for a second, and somebody comments, oh yeah, my scouter was reading a power level of 22,000, and then you could see it blow up. I think it's Zarbon's scouter.
Scouter explodes
at 22,000. Way back in the Saiyan saga, remember when Bulma has Raditz' scouter?
It stops at 22,000.
It stops at it's like 21,000 or something like that, and it blows up.
It pops. Yep.
So the first generation scouters can tap out at 21 to 22,000 before they explode. They remembered that detail and put it in like this many episodes later, but some stuff they just don't care about.
Yeah.
And I don't understand.
Other stuff they don't give a shit. Well, I feel like the other stuff they didn't give a shit, it was all filler. It didn't matter. That's
a good point.
For Toriyama writing the show, it was not that far away.
Yeah.
I guess. Or writing the manga, rather. But the priorities, yeah, for sure, they're weird.
Yeah.
Weird priorities on what matters and what doesn't matter.
Anyway, so Saiyan Scouter lore, top-notch continuity there.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
It was real good.
So anyway, Vegeta powers up, and Qui's like, no, I'll help you take down Zarbon. And
now that I see you're incredibly powerful, actually, let me join your team. I guess everybody in the Frieza Force is super obsessed
about power.
With teams, Join my team, I'll be on your team.
It's a giant gang war. Because like Frieza's Dominion is very big.
Yes.
Like weirdly huge. and so there's like factions in it, which is also represented in some of the video games. But so anyway, Vegeta beats the crap out of Qui.
Yeah, just annihilates him and then points at him and he explodes. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, there is a moment where Qui almost gets the upper hand where he says, "Hey, look, it's Frieza."
Oh my god.
And Vegeta actually turns around and the trick works.
Yeah, the old turn around trick.
But it does not work. Vegeta actually punches through the guy's armor, and he dies and then blasts him.
Yes.
Just like Nappa.
Just like Nappa.
And then it keeps cutting back. Like this whole episode, it keeps cutting back to Frieza, Zarbon, and Dorian Fruit. And all their information is coming from the scouter readouts. So they're trying to figure out what happened based on the readouts of the scouters. And it's really interesting to me. Like, it's a fun way to watch it play out because in the Saiyan saga, the same thing was happening when Bulma had the scouter when they were watching Raditz fight. Or not Raditz, Nappa and all those people fight. So it's cool to see the tables flipped. Yeah. Even though Vegeta is still technically a bad guy, like he's an opposing force, and we're seeing the new villain of the saga deal with the same things in the way that the heroes had to do. I don't know. It's
That's
cool.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of
Vegeta
symmetry.
actually says, "I learned a new trick. I learned how to mask my power level."
Yeah.
Which was pretty neat.
He learned it from Earth.
That's right. He's it's the enemy of my enemy.
Yep. So Frieza already has a lot of the Dragon Balls. I think they have 4. They're going after the 5th one. Vegeta realizes that they don't work unless you have all of them together.
Right.
So I'm going to go find 1. And then once Frieza has 6, I'm going to just steal the 6.
Yeah.
And summon the dragon to make the wish, which is pretty brilliant.
It's not a bad plan at all.
Yeah. So he goes and does that. Meanwhile, Gohan, Krillin are still masking their power levels. They're with Bulma. They've run away from the ship because they realize that once they figure out that the scouts are gone, they're going to send more forces. So they've gotten their stuff and they run away. They're looking for a cave or something to hide in. They find one. And just as about to go inside, they detect another force. Somebody's on their way.
Something is coming.
Something's coming. Something's approaching them. So they hide in the cave, and you're left waiting on bated breath to find out what's after them now that they're abandoned on the planet Namek, with no Goku and barely any Z fighters, and Frieza and Vegeta on the same planet.
What could it be?
Yeah. What's going to happen to our heroes now?
Well, we don't know.
Find out next. Find out next time on Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, we'll find out
next time.
Thanks so much, Eric. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z. He may hate the show, but he loves that you're listening. If you enjoyed the episode or are getting a kick out of the podcast, want to send us some feedback, feel free to do so at mail, M-A-I-L, at ehdbz.com, or follow us on Twitter under the handle at EricHatesDBZ. If you really want to go above and beyond, feel free to check out our Ko-fi page, ko-fi.com/EricHatesDBZ, where you can buy us a senzu bean cappuccino. All the donations go toward bonus goals. Other episodes, we recently put out a commentary for the DBZ movie Dead Zone, which was a lot of fun. Eric actually joined us for that one. I think he'll be joining us for all of the bonus episodes that we do. So check out, I think the next bonus goal is the Dragon Ball live action movie, Dragon Ball Evolution. Really excited to do that, although thinking about switching it up, going through some of the other Dragon Ball Z content, and coming back to that one at a point in the future. We'll see. Just don't want those things to get too stagnant, you know? All of the music done for Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z was composed by my incredibly hardworking and talented co-host, John Good. You can find more of his music on SoundCloud under the name Burn7. And honestly, the only other thing I wanted to say is, we know times are hard right now. Hopefully, rewatching a great anime like Dragon Ball Z and being able to recap it with us helps a little bit. Because when times are hard like this, all you can really do is go on through it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for listening, everybody.